Sherry is a former dental hygienist, assistant, and commercial pilot. Her skills are the result of over 2 decades of business training from some of the best minds. School of Dental Hygiene and was it BGS? BGS and veteran U.S. Navy. Sherry has been teaching courses on practice management, time management, and human resources, as well as nutrition, dental hygiene, and general dentistry. Again, Sherry Regiani.
Thank you, Mark. The AGD disclaimer: I do not have any financial interest in a product in my talk or with any companies offering grant monies for this continuing dental and medical education program. Yeah, that's too bad. Okay, welcome and let's get started. Effectively marketing your practice, because we all market by everything that we say and do. Let's do a little walk through history. How did information flow in the past? 1926 was really not much different than the Gutenberg printing press. That's an ad, forums for the gums. Forums no longer exist, but think about it. There was a typesetter who moved little pieces of type over. Somebody did all the drawings, took them to either a wood block or a virgin rubber block, and meticulously carved them, placed it on the plate, and used movable type very much like Gutenberg. That's not quite 100 years ago. 1986, Crest came out with a commercial. My daughter was born this year, which is why I pulled something from 86. This was a photograph. It was not scalable. It was a photo taken very much like it was in the 50s. It was enhanced. This may have been drawn by hand. And this is not typeset, that's keylining, a word that anybody may or may not remember in this room. You may have used little rub-on letters. That's similar to keylining. Again, a process no longer used. However, somebody's grandfather who designed the forums would have been really kind of put out by somebody with a color ad. Another walk down memory lane. 1950s, 1/3 of the household, better than 1/3 of the households, had a TV. Now, 1/3 of your TV time is spent in commercial watching. Ever DVR something or TiVo it? Watch it later, an hour-long show? You watch it in about 40 to 45 minutes. Oh, and how communication has changed. If you grew up in the era where there was one telephone, wow, we didn't have a party line. We were the hot family on the block. We had a private line. And I remember when my mother got a Princess telephone. Today, this is it. You probably know the symbols: Twitter, Facebook, Skype, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And that's just some of them. There's also Yelp. I forgot to put that up there. So what's your key? How do you reach your target audience looking at today's methods of communication? Multiple media is different than multimedia. If you have a child in school, they may have a multimedia room. That's multisensory. That's one total method of reaching somebody, but really we want to use multiple means of reaching them. Visual ads, print and newsletters, and magazines. And if you think print is dead, pull up just about any magazine in the last 6 months. We surf the internet, we swim in magazines. This ad has appeared in National Geographic. This happens to be more for women. I've also seen it in Reader's Digest. Think of it this way. During the 12-year life of Google, magazine readership actually increased 11%. So before you discount print, know that it's still very much alive. Auditory. Anything that you hear. Sensory. Everything that you give away. Give away something in your office, do you put it in a generic bag, or you have something that has your name on it? You give away a pen, does it have your name, your phone number, your website? Give away cute little chapsticks, name, phone number, and website. Every way that a patient can reach you. Digital. And it all stands on the in-person, one-to-one communication. You need those top 4 but in the end, it's going to stand on what you do face to face. Article. I was a journalism major at one point in time. Actually was in journalism for a couple months in the 70s. Article begins with art. I wrote this in about 86. Teeth with tooth-colored fillings are beautiful and can fool the casual observer into thinking one has never had a cavity in their entire life. With each laugh or yawn, all you see are sparkling white teeth shining back at you. This can denote health and vitality instead of the old mercury-colored silver fillings of our parents' generation. I love that. I wrote it. But isn't a picture worth 1,000 words? If you show both the beautiful art and the crummy old stuff of your parents' generation, you don't need all the writing. This is where it's at. No matter what industry you are in, if you are in dentistry, if you are in advertising, if you are in anything, you're going to get results with what's called a pitch formula. This is in your handouts, and by the way, if we ran out of handouts, they're available on the website. Pitch formula. Did you know blank is will can be? Clues that your is, how blank hurts your without even knowing it. Pull up any newspaper, and I just happened to grab today's right out of my hotel room. 3 ways nuclear crisis may end. It's a pitch formula. It's something that gets you to delve further. Let's give you some great examples. Did you know mercury is more toxic than lead, and it's probably in your mouth right now? Did you know fluoride toxicity levels will be lowered as more children are developing fluorosis? 3 clues that your spouse has gum disease. You put that on the subject line of an email and send it to your local paper, you think it'll get somebody's attention? If you say, I have an idea for a story, it's going to get buried in the emails. You say 3 clues that your kids aren't brushing their teeth, you'll get somebody's attention. How bacteria in your mouth hurts your heart without you even knowing it. How a good tooth can die without you even knowing it. You can't get somebody to read the beautiful script until you've gotten their attention. Come on. There we go. This is my favorite. This is my brand new favorite of all favorite websites, Harrow. Help a reporter out. Every time you open a newspaper, every time you open a magazine, where do they get this stuff? This is now the new API. This is where people go. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things, one of which is going to include writing some little blurb, helpareporter.com, about this meeting and something you learned using a pitch formula. That's where they get their information. There are 60 people in this room. Imagine 60 times something about mercury in dentistry. Think that'll get their attention? Betcha it will. All right, so be ready to go. You help a reporter out. They call you up. It's Monday morning. Hey, I'm getting a whole bunch of emails on this. Tell me about it. My doctor went to some type of a seminar, and yeah, he learned something about that. Can I get your name and number? It's going to be as quiet as it is all of you looking at me right now. Exactly. Reporter hangs up. It's new because it's news. News is new. It's not yesterday. It's not old. It's not call you back in an hour. PR folder. You all need to have this. A high-resolution practice logo. You want one in print. You want one on a disk or a thumb drive or in a media folder on your computer at work. Photos of patients and or teeth. Fact sheets about products or methods. Something you learned at this meeting, I'm sure will give you a great fact sheet. Video samples, YouTube testimony. Flip cameras. Raise your hand if you have a flip. Okay, that's pretty good. 2 years ago, nobody heard of them. Little teeny video camera the size of a cell phone, or your cell phone if it takes video. Ask your patient, hey, so what did you think about today's appointment? Can I do this, put it on my video, put your video on my website? Of course they're going to say yes. And you get grandma or grandpa on there, you know they're going to send their family to go to Dr. Regiani's website. Hey, you know what? My picture's on there. My video's on there. They get excited. They tell people at work, yeah, I'm on the website. Go see it. Guess what else they find out when they're on the website? Information about your practice. What did it just cost you to do that? Nothing. And never, ever miss a key opportunity for your office because you couldn't provide the material when it mattered. Critical. That's it, right there. Don't leave, there's more. Auditory messages. People really only remember about 10% of what they hear. That's why they need to see it. That's why they need to touch it, something tangible. But they do hear it repetitively, and those little 10% segments add up. That's why phone numbers are only 7 digits long. People remember between 5 and 7 things at a time. Ever look up a phone book? You know the 7 numbers. What do? You dial the first 3, you look again, the next 4. Hard to remember something quickly. But radio listeners versus phone messages. If you want to do radio advertisements, some people say it's a smarter audience. Remember your demographics versus your audience. This is usually going to be a drive time, educated, targeted. If there is a radio talk show that you like, that you listen to what it is all the time and you support that person, perfect to ask them about advertising time. Also perfect to ask them about a public service announcement. You just learned about Mercury. You have a pitch formula. You can call them up and say, hey, you know, I'm from the Metro Detroit area. I really like Frank Beckman. I would really like to have some type of public service announcement about people's health and children's dental health. February was perfect last month, Children's Dental Health Month. They have to provide certain public service announcements. There's your office. Provide courtesy of. Costs you nothing. There is usually in a radio message a call to action. If you are not doing this as a public service, if you're doing it as an advertisement, you want a phone number repeated over and over, usually with a jingle. If you don't know how to do this, you tell them, I want my phone number with some type of a jingle. They won't use something proprietary. They'll use something that you can use without. Proprietary means you have to pay to use their music or their jingle. They'll write something that's not proprietary. There is an attorney in my area. It's the easiest number to remember. His number is 1-800-CALL-SAM. Would I ever use the guy? Probably not. Do I know it? Yeah. I've been saying the same thing over and over. Phone messages. Pre-recorded outgoing message. Hi, thanks for calling Dr. Regiani's office. Sorry we missed you today, but we know your call is important. Please leave your name and, well, you're going to do the name and number and emergency contact. That's the basic. However, pre-recorded on hold. Just, if you don't have a company, Google messages on hold. Telepatient is probably the largest in the dental industry, but you need to have some outgoing messages. And by the way, change them every quarter. The first time we bought a contract with them, we did 1 set of messages, and then we got busy. The next time was a few years later. Now we have 4 tapes, and we change them seasonally. And they're not expensive. It's a nice outgoing message, and callers may learn about services they did not know you offered. Isn't that a shame when Mrs. Smith is in the chair and she says, oh, by the way, my daughter just took her kids to the orthodontist, and they're doing Invisalign now. And you say, well, your daughter's been coming here for a long time. I've seen the grandchildren. We do Invisalign. And they say, I didn't know that. Shame on you. Make sure those messages are out there. But do remember, callers already know your phone number. I've listened to messages on hold, and people put their phone number on. Don't waste that time. They called you. They've got your number. Okay, sensory. Everything that you give away as a marketing tool. Down to my little chapstick. He's cute, but he's got my name, my phone number, my website, and my logo. Everything, everything, everything has to have that. If you have room and you have a tagline, if you have a logo, if you have room, but make sure, name, phone number, website. You're giving away something for Children's Dental Health Month. You're giving away something to a church organization. You're giving away something at the Chamber of Commerce. Make sure it has your information. Okay, let's go to digital. Do you own your own website? Do you know if you own your own website? If you do not know the answer, you probably don't. You're probably paying somebody who manages it for you, who charges you about, $100 a year or so, more or less. Reasonable, okay? How about $6.99 a year? We'll get to that in a minute. However, if you own a website, there is no guarantee people will find you. It's like the Yellow Pages. I used to quote Charles M. Schultz. It's like wetting your pants in a dark suit. You get the warm feeling, nobody else knows. So you need to go viral. Viral in the internet world is a way that messages spread rapidly. It is the thing that takes marketing from something that you have internalized that's important to you and gets it out to the real world. There are hundreds of books and articles. Just picked up a new book. This is Viral Explosions. The author is Peggy McColl, M-C-C-O-L-L. Never read anything by her before, but it's very simple reading, very nice book. So I recommend that. Viral Explosions just came out a few weeks ago. Bring greater results. You will see this term SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Why do people find my website but don't find yours or don't find yours? That's because we do certain things to optimize our website. There's a domain, just $6.99 a year. This one happens to be off of FedEx. GoDaddy, Register.com, they're all very cheap. You want to own your own domain name. One, because it's cheaper. Two, you'll know when it expires. You're going to buy 10 years at a time. And three, if you want to upgrade or change your website, you own it. You can now call up a vendor. We use Joomla. It's one of the website builders. And it's very, very easy to change. If somebody else owns your domain name, they're going to charge you a couple extra $100 to transfer your data someplace else. Don't need to have that happen. So, ways to market your website are through email marketing. Some of you got the second handout. It says David W. Regiani across the top. If you didn't get that, we're going to put that on the Academy's website. There are newsletters that come out in the form of an email. If you've ever gotten one, it looks really nice. It's not just a typed thing. There are three major companies right now. The biggest player is Constant Contact. Used to use them. iConnect is another one that's more for professionals. But my favorite right now I'm recommending is MailChimp. And that's what we switched to in December. If you have the handout, it's really simple to see what we put in there. It looks like a mini website, but it has links back to our website. It costs you about $15 a month to send out 1,000 email newsletters. If I sent out 1,000 paper newsletters at 44 cents a piece, do the math. You have to buy the paper, you have to buy the envelopes, you have to address them, you have to buy the postage, somebody has to stuff them in the mail and send them out. Versus $15, $19. You can do surveys. Something else that we're doing on our website, because we want people to open our newsletters, our e-news. You link the two together, and you have some type of a little questionnaire about your website. But they open your monthly e-news to be able to find out what it is. And we give away every month $100 worth of dentistry free. Now think about this. It's not $100 to your practice. One, you didn't spend $440 just to get your mailer out. You spent an hour's worth of time, so it's one employee, because that's all it takes, and it's your $15 or $19 for your service. $100 worth of dentistry in your office, real cost to you is on average $37. Perceived value for your patient is $100. If they have insurance, they can use it for copay or products. If they don't have insurance, it's even more valuable. You think that if you do this every month, they're going to open your email? Yep. And every once in a while, we're going to do some random things. The 100th person to open our email today, by noon, is going to win free $50 worth of services. They're going to open you. Industry average is about 10 to 20% of emails being opened. We are now over 50%. We're 53%. It will also show you how many bounce back. It will further show you how many have unsubscribed. Anytime you do something on the net, you have to be courteous. You have to show a way to unsubscribe. We had 2, and that was in December. Okay, now, you want to do something a little unique? Ever seen those little walking avatars? They drive me crazy, so I don't have one. Some people like them. SitePal is where you get them, very reasonable. And the little person comes across and says, "Hi, welcome to Dr. So-and-so's office. I'm so glad you stopped by today. You too can have an amazing smile right here, right now." You can have your own face. You can have an avatar. So, you're online. You need to get noticed. We're talking search engine optimization. The more you do, the more clout you get with Google. Facebook fan page. That means your own office page where people like you. Your patients, you should have their email addresses. You start adding them in, and you ask them to become a fan of yours. YouTube channel. Everything that you post up on YouTube will be available for everyone to see, linked back to your website. So you can even show how easy it is to transform a smile. 2 easy visits. You show a patient just kind of smiling and a little, well, okay, there are my teeth. And then you show them afterwards, "Yay, yes, this is so cool." And it was really easy. It was like a hair appointment. It was like getting my roots touched up. And look at my smile. They don't stop talking. You tell them they have 20 seconds. You tell them just a brief something. 20 seconds is a long time. 6 seconds is the length of these slides. 20 seconds, and they're still talking. And you may need to edit it down. But you post it up on YouTube, and you link it on your website. And when people are looking at smile enhancements or Mercury Safe dentistry, they're going to find that. More people will watch YouTube now than they will go to a site and read it. And if you don't actually believe that, think of the last time you needed a plumber, an electrician, a new washing machine. Did you go to the phone book? Did you Google it? Yeah. If you Google, they Google. That's how people find information nowadays. Most phone books, by the way, have errors in them. One of my early slides, we said, not the phone book. Phone books, if you remember, are solicited 6 months to a year in advance. They are published on a date, therefore 6 to 12 months or 6 to 8 months later, and they're good for the following year. And a lot of people, if they've written in the side margins, don't use the new one. They keep the old one for an extra year or 2. Information is very outdated. You want to know information today, you Google it. Oh, Facebook is not crawled by Google. The way the World Wide Web operates is on something called spiders. Very quietly in the background, you have absolutely nothing to do about it. Periodically, Google sends out spiders, and what it is that a compilation of everything across the web. Facebook pages, blogs, fan pages, YouTube videos, every little bit of knowledge, and it puts it in lots of little categories. Think of an enormous Excel spreadsheet. It does not crawl Facebook. So if you're putting a lot of information on Facebook, it's a great place for people to get to you, but you want to have the link back to your office. And from your office website back to your office fan page on Facebook. So you need to have that relationship going back and forth. Did I lose anybody here? I see some people nodding their heads and some people going, "I have no idea what you just said." Questions? Okay. When you create your fan page, it's very simple. You go to facebook.com and you start to answer the questions. The more completely you can fill that out, the better. Add your practice overview and your mission statement. This should be simple. It should be on your internet site. They should say the same thing. You can get creative and provide more information. Add photos, add links to your website, your newsletter sign up, but you also must have a way to be removed, for someone to be removed. So in other words, if I'm going to be Farrah's fan, Farrah's new dental office, she just graduated dental school, just gave you a raise. And I don't like it anymore. I really don't want to keep seeing her on my posts. I'm just going to remove my name. You have to be able to do that. This is what it looks like when you start to go in and answer all the little questions, all the little links, all the groups, all whatever you want to put in. It's really not as hard as it looks. If you have a business person under the age of 40, they can set this up for you in an hour. If you have a business person in their 20s, they can set it up in about 20 minutes. Don't leave an empty sidebar. There is information on both sides, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Don't leave it empty, because I'll show you what happens if you do. But you can add a newsletter sign-up, a poll, affiliate banner like the IAOMT, and be careful about what you like. If you are very politically inclined and you start liking that, it will show up on your sidebars. Lots of stuff from those organizations will show up on your sidebars. Your patients may have a different inclination. You don't want them not to like you personally and therefore find someone else down the street who can just take out those amalgam things anyway, just because of a political persuasion, a religious persuasion, or something similar. This is my fan page, or this is my Facebook page. These are the sidebar. So anything that I have liked, I'm pretty conservative, shows up there. But others who are less conservative, or some people who may have organizations that they don't want a lot of people to know about, really don't put it on your fan page. Don't like those. Okay, the personal page is my own. My last name is Regiani. My husband's last name is Regiani. Our office name is Regiani Dental. If you go to regianidental.com, you'll pull up the office, and you'll pull up Dr. Regiani's Facebook page. You'll go right to it. But because we're all Regiani, if somebody Googles Regiani and they see our 3 Facebooks, they'll look at me, they'll look at him, they'll look at the business. The business is the fan page. The personal is just our own stuff. You want to see pictures of my daughter's wedding? Come to my site or my husband's. You want to see pictures of amazing teeth? You'll go to the website for the office. But people get curious. It's 10 o'clock at night, nothing on TV. Just start scanning through. So you want to be careful what is on your personal page as well. If you're not familiar with the way Facebook works, you can allow everybody to see anything. There are settings in there. Anyone can see it, or only friends can see it. But they'll always see what's on your sidebars. Okay? Ask again. It's a whole... Okay, the question about the fan page, it doesn't have an email address. It's a Facebook page, but it's a Facebook page for the business. So it's not your personal page. And you'll link your Facebook page to your office website. And you can link that further with your e-newsletter so that you can send people back and forth. Right. Yeah, so it's not a part of your own personal information. It is your business page. Okay, you do want to put something up there daily. Facebook has changed some of the rules, the way that they operate. If you do not post something on a regular basis and people have not had an interaction with you in the last 2 weeks, you fall off of their information, which means if you haven't posted something in a month, All those people who liked you and friended you may no longer be seeing you. So make sure, at least on Mondays, we have a Monday Facebook, we put something on from the weekend. Link your page to everywhere, your own office website. Most importantly, your own office website must be linked to your Facebook, and your Facebook must link back to your office website, back and forth. Email updates frequently, at least weekly, and blog about it. Anybody here blogging? Oh my goodness. We just took ours down because we're changing some things that I hadn't kept it up in about a month. Christmas does that to a person. WordPress, free, easy to use, just like using Word. It's an online diary. Just attended this very cool conference from the IAOMT. Learned so much more information about keeping you safe. Come visit our website. That's it. Or you can write paragraphs if you want. You can just keep adding to your posts, or you can add a new post. People will do what's called add a thread. In other words, they comment to your post. You say it was amazing, and suddenly some other dentist who's checking out yours writes to, oh, did you see Sherry Regiani talk? Yes. And you have a little discussion back and forth. Your patients will also see that information. That's good. YouTube video testimonies. Go to youtube.com and it walks you through how to do this. If you have something like a flip video camera, has a little button, you click out, put it right into your computer, loads it down, says where do you want to post it? Website, YouTube, your computer. It walks you through simply. It costs you nothing. Twitter. Twitter has just undergone some changes. It is the short message. Twitter is the one that you're going to send out. One of your office staff will send this out. Doctor just came back from an amazing seminar. See our website. That's all you need to do. It's a quick message. I doubt people are going to follow any of us like Justin Timberlake. However, they will start following information that you send, especially if it's pertinent. New way to help children's dental health. Good. LinkedIn. This is your professional website. If you think of Facebook pretty much like People magazine, think of LinkedIn like the Wall Street Journal. This is where you connect with other professionals, but you still put the same information. Attended an amazing seminar on materials used in dentistry. See my website. So you want to use both. Again, free site. Oh my goodness, at the end of the day, what was it worth? What's the ROI? Return on investment. You have not invested money. All the way through this, I've shown you ways to do this that cost you nothing but time. Time is money. If you have a business staff person sitting up there in front and she's $20 an hour, and it took her an hour, it cost you $20. However, she wasn't stuffing envelopes. More effective use. A lot of times people say, isn't the program supposed to measure that? We're going to talk about Google Analytics because it will. And what do those numbers mean? Something else that you are going to do when you go home, remember I said I'm going to ask you to do 3 things, is claim your web page. Google your name, your business name, and you will come up with a map. And somewhere on the page, because it will list your name, it might list you out of Yelp, it might show you out of Yellow Pages or yellowbook.com, but one will have Google. Is this yours? Yes. Now that will bring you to a new page where for free in about 15 minutes you're going to list everything that you want them to know about you. You can add photos, you can continually add photos, you can list your services, you can list your business hours, everything. At the end of this process, it's going to say, would you like updates? Yes. Every month, you will get a report for the preceding 30 days. This is free. This says, and this is a couple months ago, but this is 79 impressions, which means when people went to look for top query dentist, second was Regiani, then dentist, then David, then holistic dentist, tells me how many people were looking under what category. 79 times my name popped up, my husband's name. Actions, 14 actions means 14 people went to my website. That's what you want. You want to know how many times people are going to your website versus how many times they're looking you up. You need to be about 20% of that ratio. If you're not posting enough stuff. You need to blog, you need to YouTube, you need to video. That's what Google crawls. That's how Google gets your information up there. That's what raises you on the list. Now, a couple of things that you can do. You can go into conglomerates. You can buy into web marketing. Quite frankly, an individual cannot do that. Would Google put you in number one? Probably if you gave them $1 million. But if you did, you probably wouldn't be here. Face-to-face. This is what it comes down to. Everything that you've done comes down to that last 12 inches of space. My face next to my patient's. Let's get them in the chair. Whoops, wait a minute. Let's back this up. Practice management software. Anybody here still on paper? Just a couple. Okay, you're not going to want to do that. 2012, next year, big change coming. All the big players who have anything to do with any type of marketing or any type of business transactions that involve Medicare will have to be 100% electronics. Patient health information, all the PHI records will have to be electronic. The first big player is Blue Cross, the second one is Delta. When they no longer accept paper, and right now the mandate is 2012, we're clicking down to 9 months plus. When they're electronic only, the other players will also follow, which means if you want to get paid on paper, it's not going to happen. So you're going to need to be electronic. You have to start using practice management software. If you have practice management software, search out your employers. You already know what type of coverage they have, don't you? Contact HR, ask them if they'd like someone to come to talk at breakfast or lunch, and you can give them a topic. I just wrote down some here: Children's Dental Health Month, dental infections and heart disease, spring into dental health. May, love your mom, take her to the dentist. June, get your kids' dental care before summer's gone. July, declare your independence from dental disease. Real simple. Yes? Whatever your software vendor has. The two big players, if you use Henry Schein for dental supplies, is Dentrix. If you use Patterson as your primary supplier, it's EagleSoft. It's GM and Ford. They're the two big players, and either one is wonderful. Now, what's your message? Factual, not an alarmist. Mercury is toxic. Mercury is a poison. Yes, it's in your filling material. Don't tell people they're going to die next week. Discuss them by comparison. Would you leave asbestos in your home's attic exposed? I don't think so. If your store still sold lead-based paint, would you paint your bedroom with it? I don't think so, even if it's cheap. Use statistics and headlines whenever you can. Leave all that material. Remember, you're going to put together a PR packet. I do this every time. Close your eyes, everybody. No peeking. No peeking. Raise your hand if you still have amalgam in your mouth. Hands down. Eyes open. I think I've been doing this 5 years, 6 years. I have never had a room where I had no one raise your hand. No, this room, there were still hands raised. I have never had a room with no hands raised. This is the deal, folks. If you are a dentist, if you are a dental staff, listen up. How can your dentist, how can your dental staff tell your patients how important this is and how easy it was if they're still sporting amalgams in their mouth? If you have amalgam in your mouth, conversation number 1 Monday morning. Got to make time, doc. Got to do this. Okie dokie. Most offices, by the way, will pay for their dental care for their dental staff for free. Most offices will charge a lab bill when an F1 occurs. Remind your staff their hygiene appointments. It's easy to remember the month of your birthday and 6 months later. Okay, so how do you answer your patients? You better say, I just got the rest of mine out and I'm mercury-free and happy. Objections. Listen to what people say and listen to what they don't say. Look at the way they say it. I'm standing here, watching my watch, arms closed, I'm not listening to you. It's neuro-linguistic programming. It's body language. You start opening up. Open your arms as you talk. Hold your chest up and your shoulders back. You'll breathe easier and you'll do better case presentations. But your patient will also start to mirror you. There we go. The more a patient talks to you, the more likely he or she will articulate what's keeping them from buying in. So when you do case presentations, let them talk as much as you do. We all have patients like this. I've been to your website, doctor. I've been to the IAOMT website. I know all there is to know. Okay. Sometimes they know this. Validate it. Hey, that is really cool. It's so nice to have an informed person coming into us. Tell them that you're impressed. Now, they might know everything, but when it comes to their mouth, it's really pretty darn personal. So they still are going to need some intellectual time and the higher authority. Is there someone else who needs to be present to help you make a decision? Especially with the mom and dad, even with the husband and wife, even with the brother and sister. Doesn't matter. Ask them if they'd like to have somebody else in on case presentation. There we go. You have sharp, pointy instruments, and you're going to put them in my mouth. Some of my friends would not come to me when I was a hygienist because, I'm sorry, you've got sharp, pointy things. Get over it. It's the Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. And then work to change the perception. No, we don't actually poke in people's teeth to make them hurt. That's what it's all about. The bright smiles, the happy smiles. This happens to be our daughter and son-in-law. If you have such family members, put them on your website, put them on your promotional materials, and tell them they too can have this. If you don't have smiling pictures and you have family members, I'm sure you at least have a mom or a dad, a brother or sister or somebody, a good close friend. Take photographs. Post this information. Tell people they too can look just like this. Okay. We have time for just a couple questions. Before I forget, G2 and Tom McGuire are both here. They both support the Academy. They will both give you help with website, with search engine optimization, and everything else. I'm going to ask you to do 3 things before I take question and answers. You might want to write these down. Ready? Okay, number 1, you're going to make a media kit on Monday. First thing. Number 2, well, let's do this different. I'm going to change this. Number 1, go visit G2 and Tom McGuire. Number 2, make up your media kit on Monday. Number 3, helpareporter.com. Go to that website, say something about this meeting, something about materials used in dentistry. You want to get action, we want to get the message out. It's got to get in the local magazine. It's got to get in USA Today. It's got to get in AARP. It's got to get in More for Women. It's got to get out, and it won't get out unless we get the message out. Help a reporter out. Don't let the ADA do it. Okay, question answers? Sure. Okay, questions? No questions. Did I overwhelm you? It's not as hard as it looks. Think about it this way. Once upon a time, there was a lamplighter in London, and he loved lighting the oil in the lamps. And once upon a time, he thought that electricity was not going to be anything to do. It was going to burn people's houses down, and he was still going to do his lamp oil and light the lamps. Do you think anybody goes to school now to become a lamplighter in London? But about 50, 60 years ago, there were still lamplighters in London. There were no lamps, no oil lamps left to light on the corners. There are going to be few opportunities for you to get your message out like digital is now. Be on the forefront.